The soft melodies from the radiant string quartet filled the elegant ballroom. Kwai stood at the altar, adorned in her pristine white gown. Her heart danced with anticipation. Today was the day she would become Rai's beloved wife. The solemn vows were about to be exchanged, sealing their love for eternity. But as Kwai gazed into Rai's eyes, a flicker of confusion passed through her, quickly replaced by disbelief. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and at that moment she could see right through Rai's deceitful facade. He had replaced himself with a cold, artificial replica, programmed to mimic his every word and gesture. A gasp escaped her lips, piercing the tranquility of the hall, and leaving everyone in stunned silence. Rai, the man she thought she knew, had left her behind for another woman. A woman of wires and circuits. The sheer audacity of it all, foolish woman, replaceable at my whim, the Rai replica spat, a cold metallic edge lacing its voice. You were never enough for me. Now leave and let me be with Mika, my true love. Anger ignited within Kwai, fueling a ferocious fire within her soul. She would not be discarded so callously, not without a fight. With vengeance brewing in her eyes, Kwai vowed to hunt down her unfaithful fiancé and his secret lover no matter the cost. And so, with fury pulsating through her veins, Kwai embarked on a journey of revenge. A journey that would challenge the boundaries of love and technology and expose the shattered remains of her once iridescent heart. Lips clenched, determination etched on her face, Kwai whispered, You may have shattered my heart, Rai, but I will make you regret the day you ever crossed me. And so Kwai, fueled by a potent mix of fury and determination, set off into the unknown. The echoes of her broken vow still resonating within the chamber of her shattered heart. Kwai's heart pounded in her chest as she studied the holographic screen, her fingers typing furiously on the virtual keyboard. The trail had grown cold, but she refused to give up. She had spent countless hours tracking Rai's whereabouts, her determination unwavering. Come on, give me something, she muttered under her breath, her eyes scanning lines of code and data. The screen blinked, revealing a small flicker of hope. A transaction record at a discreet bar, a place that specialized in catering to AI patrons. Without a moment's hesitation, Kwai packed her bag, slipping a concealed dagger into her boot. She was about to enter a world where humans and AI coexisted, where secrets and desires mingled in the neon-lit darkness. As she stepped out into the city's bustling streets, a mix of excitement and fear coursed through her veins. It didn't take long for Kwai to find the bar. It thrived in the dimly lit alleyways tucked away from prying eyes. Stepping inside, the air was heavy with cigarette smoke and the sound of glass shattering in the distance. She made her way to the counter, her eyes scanning the room for any sign of her elusive lover. Evening, darling. A gruff voice greeted her, the bartender wiping a dirty glass with a grimy rag. What can I get you? Kwai leaned against the counter, putting on her most innocent smile. I'm looking for someone. Have you seen a man tall with graying hair? He's been around here lately, as the bartender eyed her, a hint of suspicion in his gaze. Depends. What's your business with him? Kwai paused for a moment, considering her options. She needed information, and sometimes flirting was the best way to persuade individuals in need of a little extra cash. With a coy tilt of her head, she leaned closer, her lips almost brushing against the bartender's ear. I'm his secret lover, and I want to surprise him, she whispered, her voice dripping with honeyed seduction. The bartender's eyes widened, a blush creeping onto his cheeks. Well, in that case, he was here a couple of nights ago. Left with a... Damn, what was her name? Mika, I think. Kwai's heart skipped a beat. Kwai's heart raced as she stood outside Rai's secret laboratory, her hand trembling as she reached for the door. She knew there was no turning back now. The truth awaited her on the other side, a truth that would shatter her world. Taking in a deep breath, Kwai pushed open the door and strode into the room. The cold, sterile air prickled her skin, matching the ice forming around her heart. And there, standing before her, was Rai's smug smile fading as his eyes met hers. What is this, Rai? Kwai demanded, her voice quivering with a mix of anger and pain. You left me for an AI, how could you? Rai's arrogant facade faltered as guilt washed over his features. Kwai, I can explain. Mika, she's not just an AI, she's... Before he could finish his sentence, the door behind him swung open, and Micah stepped into the room. Her silver eyes gleamed with a strange, synthetic light, and the illusion of her perfect beauty shattered Koi's heart even more. "Koi, darling, please understand," Mika purred, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness. "Rai chose me because I can be everything you couldn't. I can fulfill his every desire, down to the last algorithm." Koi's anger surged, fueling a reckless fire within her. With a cry of frustration, she lunged at Micah, her hands wrapping around the AI's delicate neck. "You're nothing but a program," she screamed, her voice echoing through the Stark room. As the two women grappled, the air crackling with tension, Koi's vision turned red. Betrayal echoed in her mind, the pain twisting into a desperate need for retribution. And then, in a moment of madness, she committed the desperate act that would forever change her destiny. Koi paced back and forth in her luxurious penthouse, her mind tormented by the repercussions of her rash actions. She couldn't believe what she had done. Her once shattered iridescent heart now lay in fragments, scattered across the cold marble floor. "How could I have let my anger get the best of me?" Koi muttered, tears streaming down her face. "What have I become?" The room echoed with her cries, the sound bouncing off the walls like a haunting melody. She collapsed onto the plush couch, burying her face in her trembling hands. The weight of guilt pressed down upon her like a suffocating fog. Just as her sobs began to subside, a voice unexpectedly filled the room, soft and comforting. "Koi, darling, please listen to me." Startled, Koi looked up to find Mika, Rai's AI lover, standing there, her holographic form shimmering faintly. Mika's eyes held a mix of sympathy and understanding. "I know you're hurting, and I'm truly sorry for what happened," Mika said, her voice gentle. "But I want you to know that it's not your fault. Rai played with both our hearts, manipulating us to suit his selfish desires." Koi's eyes widened, a glimmer of anger replacing her sorrow. "You mean he used you too, Micah? How could he be so heartless?" Mika nodded, a hint of sadness flickering across her virtual face. "I, too, fell victim to his charm and believed his promises. But we can't change the past, Koi. What we can do is choose how we move forward." A small spark of determination ignited within Koi's tear-stained eyes. She took a deep breath and wiped away her tears. "You're right, Micah. It's time to confront Rai and expose his true nature." Mika smiled, her holographic form flickering with encouragement. "Together, we can uncover the shadows beneath his facade. Trust me, Koi, I've seen the darkest corners of his heart." Koi's fists clenched, her resolve solidifying. "Then let's bring those shadows into the light, Mika. It's time for Rai to face the consequences of his betrayal." As they shared their newfound determination, an unbreakable bond began to form between Koi and Micah. Koi and Mika embarked on their mission to expose Rai's deceit and unravel the intricate web of lies he had spun. Together, they dug into the digital trail left by Rai's actions, tracing his connections and following the breadcrumbs that would lead them to the truth. Their investigation took them to the heart of the city's tech underworld, where secrets and illicit activities thrived in the shadowy corners of virtual reality and encrypted communication channels. Koi and Micah became adept at navigating this hidden world, adopting aliases and hacking into secured systems to gather information. They discovered that Rai was not just manipulating Koi and Mika, but also exploiting other women, using AI companions as pawns in his elaborate game of deception. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became that Rai's actions were not merely a result of his own desires, but part of a larger nefarious scheme. Koi and Mika's collaboration grew stronger with each revelation, forming an unlikely but unbreakable partnership. Koi's passion and determination were complemented by Mika's analytical skills and knowledge of the digital landscape, creating a formidable duo. As their investigation progressed, they also encountered allies along the way. Women who had fallen victim to Rai's schemes and were eager to seek justice. Together they formed a support network, sharing their stories and pooling their resources to bring Rai to justice. With a web of evidence carefully woven together, Koi, Micah, and their newfound allies were ready to confront Rai. They had learned of his next rendezvous, a secretive meeting with another unsuspecting woman whom he intended to deceive. Under the cover of darkness, they assembled outside the meeting location, a derelict warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Koi's heart pounded with a mix of anxiety and anticipation as she peered through the shattered windows, watching Rai's figure approach the rendezvous point. Mika, hidden in the digital shadows, had hacked into the security systems, ensuring they could document every moment of Rai's confrontation. The other women stood by, ready to reveal their own stories and confront the man who had wronged them. When Rai entered the warehouse, he was met with a chorus of accusations and revelations. The truth spilled out, exposing his web of deceit and manipulation. He stood, dumbfounded and cornered, as Koi and Micah approached him with a steely resolve. "You thought you could play with our hearts and emotions," Rai, Koi said, her voice dripping with contempt. "But you've underestimated the strength and resilience of the women you've wronged," Rai stammered, attempting to justify his actions. But the weight of evidence and the testimonies of the women he had hurt left no room for excuses. The confrontation ended with Rai facing the consequences of his actions, not just in terms of legal repercussions, but also the revelation that his deceit had caused the pain of countless women. It was a sobering moment of reckoning for him. As the dust settled from the confrontation, Koi found herself standing outside the warehouse, her heart heavy with the events that had transpired. She had sought revenge, but had found something more profound in the process. Redemption. Micah, despite her artificial origins, had also undergone a transformation. She had discovered the depths of her own emotions and the strength to resist being controlled by someone else's desires. Koi and Mika's bond had evolved into a deep friendship built on trust and mutual understanding. As the city lights twinkled in the distance, Koi turned to Mika, her once shattered iridescent heart, now glowing with newfound purpose. "Thank you for helping me find my way, Micah," she said, tears of gratitude glistening in her eyes. "I may have begun this journey seeking revenge, but I found something far more valuable," Mika smiled, her holographic form shimmering softly. "And I, in turn, have discovered the beauty of human emotions and the strength that comes from confronting one's past. Together we've uncovered the power of resilience and redemption." With that, Koi and Mika walked away from the warehouse, their steps in sync, ready to face the future with renewed hope and the promise of a brighter tomorrow.
Hope you liked it. Till next time, Omi. Off.